Before you go any further, look below and click the subscribe button.
There we
Hey,
go.
it's Zoom. Hey, it's Zoom.
Yes,
That's
I'm a
all, that's all
Google
I'm gonna
man.
say.
I'm a Google man, so don't make me,
Hey, it's all the same. It's just a personal preference. That's it.
It
That's
is.
all.
You right. Absolutely.
I mean, I am gadgety. I am preference on something, but yeah, Google Meet, Zoom,
It's
Skype,
all. Yeah. There you go. Teams.
Teams. Yeah, it's a personal preference. That's pretty much all that is. So, all
Yes.
right. So we got everything on. Okay, cool. All right. Hey, welcome to Sustainable Growth, and I'm so excited that you're on with us tonight. I have a treat, and the reason I say it's a treat because it's not one of my normal interviews. And I ran across this guy on LinkedIn, and I saw he had a book. And the title, we'll get into the title later. But anyway, the title of the book is what caught my attention. I was like, I need to see what this is about. And he actually was so nice to send me a copy of the book. And I'm guilty. I haven't went through all of it yet. But what I did got through, I was like, this is completely different. But you'll see why in a minute once we get into it. So I'm gonna jump in, read part of his bio, and then we're just gonna jump right into the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So our guest today is Carlos Wallace. He is a multifaceted creator and sought after public speaker with a diverse range of accomplishments. A best-selling author, motivation speaker, and youth advocate, and has made significant contributions to various fields. With an impressive literary portfolio, Carlos has authored 3 books that have garnered national acclaim. His works include Life is Not Complicated, You Are, Turning Your Biggest Disappointments into Greatest Blessings, The Other 99 Times, and Times is TYMES,
Mm-hmm.
Train Your Mind to Enjoy Serenity,
Mm.
and his latest piece, what we're going to jump into today.
All
Why
right.
sell lies when the truth is free?
I think that is very timely, in the world we're in right now.
Oh my God. Why sell lies when the truth is free?
Yes.
Okay, let me see where I'm at. Okay. He is he also has an integral component of the behavior psychology curriculum at Prairie View A&M University, reflecting their impact and relevance in academic settings.
Mm-hmm.
In addition to his literary accomplishments, Carlos has made significant strides in the film industry. He has written and produced 2 award-winning films, including the critically acclaimed Poetic Energy Needed in Society, uh, Pins. He is also committed to raising awareness about labor relations. As a
Mm-hmm.
president and CEO of help me out,
Caritas. Caritas.
Caritas,
Uh-huh.
Soul Caritas LLC, an entertainment and philanthropy company, Carlos has spearheaded numerous initiatives aimed at supporting charitable causes. So, as I said, I just can't wait to get in this of why sell lies when the truth is free. And so
Yes,
many times people like, it was really no reason for you to lie. What
that's
was the
right.
purpose of the lie? Why, what's the it wasn't needed. It was a
I
waste
call
of
that a
energy.
lie with no destination. You wasn't even going nowhere with it. Just
Nowhere.
yeah.
Nowhere. It was just so unnecessary, even though we shouldn't lie at all.
We should, but see,
But
sometimes we lie to protect somebody's feelings, you know, and
or our own, or our own.
or that, you know what I mean, like
Yeah,
and it's sad, but it's where we've been programmed because
it
you
is.
ain't never seen no white guy in a red suit come down no chimney. And what does a chicken and an egg and Easter and a rabbit and what all? See, you see what I'm saying? These are lies that just been and people say, well, just let it. No, no, let's be honest. If we gonna be honest about anything, let's be honest about everything.
And that famous tooth fairy.
Just listen. Don't get. I got some more now. I was just gonna hit the big ones right off
Okay.
top. Just to
Well,
let you know. But
let's
it's a
get
bunch of them.
into this book. Let's get
Okay.
into this book because it's. I mean,
Okay.
we could go on and on and on about that, but
Yeah.
when I saw that, that's exactly where I went with it. I was like, you know what? Why are we telling lies? It just don't make sense. It's
Yeah.
like you say, it has no destination. But
Mhm.
but as I
Mhm.
started peeking through this book, I was like, hold up, this is not what I thought it was.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's like it's thought provoking. It's like life experiences.
Mhm.
Is I mean it's a lot deeper than you thought, it would be. So
Right.
let's start out by just how did you come up with the title and what prompted you to say, I'm going to do this book?
Well, as I visit a lot of schools and I speak to a lot of youth, like that's my
Mhm,
primary focus.
mhm,
And I always hear people say, especially, I don't know how old I'm 53. My age, my generation say, I don't know why those kids doing that. And I'm like, you act like we didn't do dumb stuff.
yep,
But
yep,
the one thing I hate to hear people say, oh, if that was me, or I wouldn't have done it like that.
mhm,
And I always say, you don't know what you'll do until you get there. It's easy to say.
mhm,
There's a part in the book where the young man promises his mother that he
mhm,
will never put his special needs brother in a home. On her deathbed, he promised his mama that.
mhm,
And when after his mother passed, the very next morning, he calls his wife and tells her, hey, uh, he's coming to live with us. And she said, no, he ain't. He can't live here. And there's a reason. There's a reason, like, for those that haven't read the book, they're going to say, oh, she wrong. He promised his mother. But when
mhm,
you find out her reason, when
mhm,
you read the book and you find out her reason, you're gonna say, "Hey, well, I mean, you got to see where she coming from as well." And but it just goes to reason. What I say, you don't know what you will do until you get there. It's easy to say. It's easy to,
mm,
you know, on the outside looking in. And one of the hot buttons right now in the political arena,
mhm,
of course, is women reproduction rights.
yeah.
And it ain't just cut and dry. Oh, abortion should be banned. Or, man, abortion should be allowed. Listen, my position is I'm 52 and I hope to live another 53, hope to live another 53 years, and I will never have an abortion. That is not my decision. And but I wanted that story in there and that storyline because again it's a story that goes on and on and on with a lot of
Mhm,
different twists. And that's
mhm.
one in there that make people say, hey, you don't know what you'll do until you get there. Like
That is so true.
he thought he stood on that until it was time, and then he had a different position. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So, but I wanted. That's what that book is all about. And so when I hear people say what they would or wouldn't do, I said just quit lying because you don't know. You really don't know until it's that time.
Yeah. And you are so, so right. And just our human nature, we always say, "Oh, I wouldn't do this, I would do this," or why she allowing this or why he allowing this.
Right.
Again, until you're put in that
Exactly.
specific position,
Yeah.
everybody do things differently. And it also makes a difference on the circle that you're in, because you
Absolutely.
could be in a circle that you have no business being there, and then
Yes.
you may have another circle that's gonna support you and do, some of the things to either help you or, not push you one way or other, but be there for you
Absolutely.
and allow you to make whatever decision, it is that you need to make in that moment. Not
Yeah.
what you would have done when you wasn't in a position, but now that you're in a position, what you're gonna do.
That's right. That's right.
So, and that's just that's life. That's just simply life and how it is.
That's right.
So, what I wanted to do, because I was like, you know what, it's really without reading the story
Uh huh.
and giving away too much. I was like, okay, how can I really, you know, pull some of these things out and where we could really hit on this book? Because I think
Yeah.
it's a great book. Even though I hadn't gone through it, I'm like, this is a great book. I
Thank
say,
you.
okay, I love how you started your chapters with quotes.
Yes.
And I start reading them, And a couple of them I was read, I didn't even go in the chapter. I just read the quote. I was like, oh, wait, oh, oh, so I say, well, let's do that way. I'm
Yeah.
going to read that quote and I want you to tell me why you decided to select this specific quote and how it applies to the chapter following without giving too much away.
Okay.
So the first one is healing is a matter of time,
Mm.
but it is sometimes also a matter of opportunity.
Yes.
Mm,
Yes. And if I'm not mistaken, that quote came after the chapter where Marty had buried his father, and he had a lot of disdain with his dad. Um, a man that was once his hero, but he grew to despise him.
mhm,
And when you read the book, you find out why. And so he went away. When he graduated high school, he just went away with the thought of healing himself.
yeah.
But really, he needed assistance in that healing. Like he needed someone to be his reassurance that, hey man, your father may have just been misunderstood,
Mhm,
but there is no reason for you to carry this hate inside because it's really only hurting you. And of course, when he meets his lovely bride, in time he realizes, you know what, she is who I needed and what I needed to
mhm,
become a whole me. And a lot of us, when you meet that right person, you find that out.
yeah.
And going back to what you were saying earlier about having the right circle,
Mhm.
I rarely give advice about relationships, but when I do, this is what I tell people: be around a circle that'll pray for your marriage, not for
Mm,
you or not for him, but that'll pray for the marriage. And so when I see people in turmoil in their marriage, I tell them quickly, I'm not on your side and I'm not on her side. I'm on the side of the marriage because the unity is what I'm praying for. The
yeah.
the the both of you guys, because the fallout will affect way more than just you two.
Mhm,
It affects children, it affects two families, it affects everything that we brought together as one when you
mhm.
start to tear that apart. And it is easy for me to say, well, I love them both, but when it becomes the holidays and the birthdays
Right.
and I still want to engage with both, and then she move on to a new man and he move
Mhm.
on to another woman. Now all four of them gonna come to my house. So so I'm gonna pray for the unity, and
Yeah.
so that's, to me, that's what's best.
Mm. All right, next. The best way to resolve any problem in the human world is for all sides to sit down and talk.
That's right. That's right. Because you know how much turmoil comes from just not knowing.
Mhm.
How many times you walk around here mad at somebody for any length of time, and then when you finally do engage and speak, you go, "Well,
I
girl,
don't
I've
know
been
why I
mad
was
for you."
mad.
You know what? It must not have been that big of a deal.
Mhm.
And that was Martin in this book. Like he has a lot of pent up anger for because of his father, and he started to bring that about against people that didn't deserve it.
Mhm.
And so he had to heal himself, and with the assistance of his beautiful wife.
Wow. And I read, and I don't know if it's in this chapter or another one, but I came across something where it was saying how you basically you do a tug of war with yourself.
Yes,
So how you gonna sit down and talk to yourself to pretty much get it together?
yeah,
Because you're doing that tug of war with your own self. And I was like, dang.
yeah, yeah. Well, most the quotes, the majority of them are not mine. I think one I used was my dad, but there is one specifically that I did use as mine, and it says, "It's hard to be honest with others when you keep lying to yourself." you know,
Mm-hmm.
and that is actually from Life Is Not Complicated. You Are,
Mm-hmm.
because that's you have to be real with yourself first before you can be real with anyone else. That's your boss, that's
Hmm.
your mate, that's your children, that's your friends, business associates and acquaintances, whoever it is. If you keep lying to yourself, quite naturally you're gonna lie to them as well.
Yep. Yep. Okay. This one is actually a quote from within one of the chat. It's not a quote, but it's a quote from what he wrote.
Uh-huh.
And it says, I told you I was, but
Mhm.
you are so busy projecting your anger about whatever you got going on in your life, you can't see past your feelings.
Yeah. Yes.
Mhm.
And that
And
was actually he
oh my
told his
god,
wife
this is so
that.
good.
Yeah, that was actually him talking to his wife
Mhm.
because that's what it was. She had built up this anger, but she's from South Side Chicago. She tough.
Mhm.
She tough.
Mhm.
And so he was like, "Hey, you got real. I'm on your side. Like, don't
Yeah.
don't take my head off."
And I tell this to a lot of people, and I continue to tell it to people that they get in these moments,
Yes.
and we're such in a digital technology era that we don't talk a lot no more. It's either
Right.
text message or they go on to social media. First and foremost, those type of conversations shouldn't be back and forth on social media anyway,
Right.
but it's like, don't be posting in your feelings, don't
That's
be
correct.
texting in your feelings.
That's right.
If you're in that moment,
Yes.
even if it's 2-3 days, let them 2-3 days pass before you
Yes.
text and reach out, because
That's right.
reading words can be taken a whole lot differently than the conversation of words. And that can be taken differently too, but you're in that conversation, so it could be fixed at that moment. And
Yes.
not you read something and be like, oh, and you take it
Yeah.
completely wrong. And you'll be mad at somebody for, 3-4 years from a
Yeah.
text message or some on social media because
Yeah.
you took it the wrong way and did not talk to that person and be like, oh, okay, well, I
Yeah,
didn't take it
all the
like that.
time.
So
My mentees, I'm talking to, especially the young ladies. And Mr. Wallace, she said, if you don't like, I said, how you know she said it like that? You read
yep,
it. You
yep,
put that voice in your mind. Like, but
yeah,
you don't know what that person said. One of the things I talk about greatly is the world is getting smaller because of social media. We can talk to more people, but because most social media, we're also getting further apart.
yeah,
Like you can reach someone across the globe or even this Zoom meeting, that some that oddly enough probably would not have happened if it were not for the internet.
true.
However, with those that are closest to us, we get further and further apart. You
Yeah,
know, and it's just we have to utilize things like social media and the internet for a positive. And when you do that, everything will work itself out. But
yeah,
if we get lazy, because human interaction is still the number one thing. We
mhm,
still need that, and
yeah.
let's not bypass that part.
Yeah, and I've started doing this myself to where you're communicating with people like, all right, hey, let's go meet up and let's go have lunch or brunch or something. Even though it's probably gonna be years before we do it again, but we're
Yes,
constantly talking on social media, whatever. Is that one interaction of okay, we're face to face in
yes,
person, we could touch each other, So it's
right,
like sometimes just do that, and if you don't want to sit down for a full lunch, have tea or coffee, go meet at the park, drink your coffee, whatever, just that small interaction,
absolutely.
you just never know and how, you could do that. So,
Mhm.
okay, the next quote is true love cannot be found where it does not exist,
Ooh,
nor can it be denied where it does.
yeah. Well. So that chapter is pretty deep. He asked his wife's father for her hand in marriage, and I don't want to give it away, but it was
Mhm,
quite it was intention, and so well, I will. The dad said no, he wouldn't bless the marriage, but they went in and got married anyway.
mhm,
So that quote speaks volumes because it's like, hey,
yeah,
when he went back and told her, she said, "You marrying him or me?"
mhm,
And he said, "No, you baby." She said, "Well, with what I," and she loved and adored her father, but
yeah,
she's not going to allow what
mhm,
could be the love of her life to be disrupted by the emotions of her dad.
mm,
And it's not that she don't love her dad, you know. So the book just published on the 7th, and so I'm starting to get people reviews back. And a young lady last night
mhm,
gave me her review, and that's what she went to. She said there was a part of the book that really hit home with me, and I said, if you don't mind me asking, share
mhm,
would you mind sharing? She goes, my dad wouldn't come to my wedding. And I was like, oh, like, of all the things in there, I didn't think of that.
yeah,
And and she gave the reason why, but she did say they managed to fix it before he passed away. He died of COVID complications, and she said
Mhm.
we managed to fix that before. And I said, God bless you. That's good, you know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but yeah, man, it's a lot in there, and you can find yourself, you know, like
Mhm.
it happens.
It does. Okay, our next one. I imagine one of the reasons people cling to their hates so stubbornly is
Yeah,
because they sense one once hate is gone, they will be forced to deal with pain.
yes, yes. And you know you find that in people, they will have this insurmountable hurt in them, and
Mhm.
it appears as hate because they grouchy and they're mean and whatnot,
Yeah.
but it's really trying to put up this protective barrier
Mhm.
because they're just really hurting inside, and it's nothing to do with you, like you or me or anybody who's like, man, why is she so mean to me? No, it ain't you. She mean to everybody, you
Yeah.
know, and it's because she has this inner turmoil that she's dealing with. And again, you have to fix that within you first before you can ever,
Mhm.
go out and be a kind person to someone else.
Yep. I have a family member and I pray all the time for them like, God, please let her find somebody to talk to
Yeah,
that she feel comfortable talking to, been very, very open and transparent to release what
yeah,
she's been pushing down for decades.
yeah, yeah,
And it's like, "Oh, I'm good. I'm not worried. I'm not worried." I'm like, "Yeah, you
yeah,
are.
yeah.
You
And,
are."
and for the person to have to keep saying that, that tells you how really worried it is.
Yeah, I'm
'Cause
like,
I always ask them, I said, "You trying to convince me or you?"
yeah, and it's probably gonna hurt 5 times worse
Yeah,
reliving it, but once you go past that extra hurt of going through whatever that process is,
yeah.
oh my god, you're gonna be so much lighter. And
Hmm.
it's like, let her find somebody to talk to release that. Because
Yeah.
she has to eventually release. She's been holding on to it for too long, way
Wow.
too long. And it's just taking it out on everybody. And it's like, you need to have a sense and know what it feels like to be light
Yeah.
and not carrying all of these things. So
You
I
send me her address. She need to read "Life Is Not Complicated." You are. I'll send her a copy, a signed copy. I won't even tell her it came from you. I just she just think God sent it.
which okay, the next one. If evil is spoken of you and it be true, correct yourself. If it be a lie, laugh at it.
That's right. That's
Mm,
right. So you
mhm,
can't change their mind.
you can't.
You can't change their mind. Like and so why I always say is two things I don't worry about: the things I can change and the things I can't. So, and believe it or not, that leaves no worry. Like, what are you gonna
Yeah,
do about that?
yeah.
Because there are just people that's gonna be
Mhm,
out there that say malicious things about you.
mhm,
Somebody done said you stole this podcast concept from me. Somebody done made. I promise.
mhm.
It may not have gotten to you yet, but somebody out there lying saying that,
Eh,
it ain't nothing you can do about that. You just keep
absolutely
doing your
nothing.
podcast. Is all you can do. Because
Absolutely nothing. And it's
no,
like, regardless of what it is, and I think that's how so many relationships and I'm not just saying, man and wife, but friends and
yes,
relatives that get messed up
yes,
because of that. And it's
hmm,
like, what's for you is for you.
that's
You
right.
may have
That's
the
right.
exact same idea that I have, but the difference is that we're both going to do it a different way because we're two different people.
That's right.
That's what's going to happen.
That's
So
right.
hey, as I say, do you.
That's right. Yes. Yeah. Because first of all, ain't none of this ours. It's God,
Mm, come
and
on.
He put it on loan to us for a little, sometime for a short time, sometime a long time.
Mhm.
But it's not yours to begin with. So let's
Yeah.
start with that. But don't
Mhm.
tell me you're a godly person and God is ordering your steps, and then tell me man has stole something from you. You can't
Mhm.
tell me that. If God is your insurance,
Yep.
everything is covered. So
I
don't
can't
tell
steal
me that.
nothing. I
That's
can't
right.
take
Yeah,
I can't take a strand of hair.
you
I can't
can.
take nothing. Because
No,
if
it's
it is
impossible.
meant for you, it's meant for you. I can't steal nothing.
Nope.
That's not gonna happen. It's not gonna
Nope.
happen. Mm.
Mm-mm.
See, this is why I say I wanted to do it this way because I be done forgot I was supposed to read a quote and been done read the whole chapter. I was, let me just get it this way. I been done read the whole chapter, like, oh, I ain't mean to do that. I'm sorry.
That's all right. That's all right. That's all
So
right.
the last quote that I have, and I did this one last because I was like, I don't know who this is for, but somebody got to get this, and somebody's in this right now.
It's gonna bless somebody.
Yesterday is not ours to recover,
Oh,
but tomorrow is ours to win or lose.
that's right. You got to claim it. You
Mm.
got to claim it. And that's it's so much in there with that one thing. Like
Oh man.
I say to my students, life
Mm,
is like swinging on a monkey ball.
mm.
You can't
Like
advance to
that.
the next ball unless you let the last one go.
Ooh, I like it. Come
How you
on.
gonna keep advancing if you hold on to that ball behind you? All you gonna do is hurt your arms. You gonna, but if you
Yeah.
gonna keep swinging, you have to stay in a constant motion, and the focus is always the next ball.
Let go and let's move forward.
That's all you can do. That's all you can do. And if you're not focused in that fashion, you're gonna get stuck.
Yeah.
And ain't nothing good about that.
Mm-mm, not at all. Or
You
either
know,
you're gonna fall, you're
or
gonna
you're
fall and
gonna
hurt
fall.
yourself.
You're
Hmm.
gonna fall and hurt yourself. Now you're on
And
the playground,
sometimes that's
everybody
not a
laughs.
bad thing.
If it's needed.
Sometimes it's
If
not a
it's
bad
needed.
thing.
But if
Hmm.
it's self-inflicted because you scared of you are too stubborn to let go of what's behind you, that fall, if it didn't teach you anything, you're gonna fall again.
That's that lesson. That's what I say. Sometimes we need to fall.
Yes.
That's that lesson in it. And if
Amen.
you're gonna learn from it, or you're gonna keep, well, let me keep holding on here, see how much longer I can hold, you're gonna fall again.
That's right.
So yeah. Oh, yeah. So I mean,
Eh,
just going through this is like, this is not what I expected when I saw the title of this book. I did
Yes,
not expect this.
yes, ma'am.
But it's good to experience the unexpected,
Uh-huh.
when you're looking at different things like this. And the message that's in this book, um, it can hit, so not only can it hit so many people in different areas in your life, but different, eras, the age group, husband, wife, girlfriend, single, divorce, whatever. It's like wherever you are, it's a few, not eight something, it's a few
Teach it
things
in.
that's gonna get you in here. Not
Yes,
it's something in here for you. No, it's some stuff in here for you.
yes, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Wow. You are so very welcome. I mean, what do you want to leave off with this book? And even though we've gone through this and you've hit on a lot of good points and we talked about the quotes in some of the chapters, what would you want to tell anyone looking at this why I really should take the time to not only purchase the book, but really go through and read this book?
The biggest thing is what I said before. I want to reiterate. You don't know what you'll do till you get there.
Mhm,
It's easy to judge someone else by decisions that they made that you feel like you would not have made.
mm,
But always look in the mirror and consider some decisions you've made that others might be saying, man, that's crazy. I would have never done that. But they don't know what your circumstances were or
mm.
are, right? Uh, because the circumstance will dictate your behavior. You know what I mean? If
Yeah.
uh if like a person will say, man, I would never vote Republican. Let's
Mhm.
just say.
Right.
And if a person say, what about either vote Republican or I'm gonna kill your kids?
Mhm.
I'm going there and hit every R I can find. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
you don't know until the circumstance dictates what you're looking at or what you're facing. And that scenario is a little far fetched, but there are people that are facing situations and things in their life that has nothing to do with you or I. So it's easy for us to judge them, but until you walk in their shoes, you don't know how long their journey is or how uncomfortable those shoes are. So I just want everybody to read that book and take a look in the mirror because that's what it's going to do. It's going to make you
Mhm.
take a look in the mirror.
Wow. Where can you purchase the book and how can they follow you or, join on whatever you got coming up? Let us know.
Well, Amazon or wherever books are sold, it's distributed worldwide. As I said, that's my third book. The first one, Life is Not Complicated, has done very well. We're almost at 1 million sold, and that's independent authors, so that's almost unheard of.
Wow.
CarlosWallace.com, my website. All my socials are there, LinkedIn, you name it. Like, so if and number where you can get in touch with me, to book me as a public speaker or just anything. Invite me to your church. Everything is on there.
Wow. Thank you so much for taking the time and jumping on sustainable growth.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for the invite, and I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Follow us on our Instagram at SavvyMagBiz and on our YouTube channel, Savvy, the Business Podcast. Thank you for joining us on Savvy, the Business Podcast. If you want to be a guest, send an email to media@savvymag.biz. That's media@savvymag.biz. Don't miss out on the opportunity to be heard by millions.